Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another of Auntie Tammy's Mission Adventures. And today I have with me my daughter,
Layla,
my niece,
Shayla,
and my nephew,
Nathaniel.
And we've been here sharing stories with you. If you have missed any of the stories so far, I ask that you go back and that you find out, what have I missed? I see something here about ants and snakes and crocodiles and bats and being on a boat and all of those things. Whoa, I need to catch up. Yes, you can catch up anytime you feel like. And also, just so you don't miss any more that is to come, make sure that you, what do you guys call it? Put on the post notification.
Which is the bell at the side of subscribe.
Yes. So that after you've subscribed, put that on so that you cannot miss a mission adventure story. Because all of us, the Lord wants all of us to be missionaries. And I'm sharing with you some of my mission adventures so you can see that being a missionary is so exciting. It really is. So Shayla is going to read today, and she's going to read the memory verse that would go with today's story.
Proverbs 25 verse 8 says, "Don't jump to conclusions. There may be a perfectly good explanation for what you just saw."
Oh, isn't this verse perfect for the story that you are about to hear? Do you guys know what a pirate is, or who a pirate is?
Someone who robs boats or ships.
Somebody who robs boats or ships. Have you ever met a pirate?
No.
Well, I thought I did, and my husband thought he did. Because, growing up, you'd see those pirate films with, the one eye covered with a patch, and there's a parrot on the shoulder, and he would speak funny and maybe one leg missing and have a gun. And so you think that once you go on a ship or you hear something strange, it's pirates that are coming. So basically, it was our first night, I think it was. Yes, our first night in Guyana, heading to the jungle. We were on the top of the boat and we fell asleep at some point. This now was about 4 o'clock in the morning. We woke up and it was beautiful. We can see all the elements in the sky, if you put it that way, because it's all dark and you're on the river and it's just jungle on both sides. One side is Suriname and the other side is Guyana. We woke up because we heard, and we're like, what's going on? And the boat's rocking. And my husband's like, honey, stay here. There's something going on. I think there are pirates on the boat, coming on the boat. And I'm like, pirates? And I'm not sure what to do. What do I do now, Lord? And I have my bags and everything. And I was like, oh, Lord, what's going on? Pirates. And we looked over and there were, I think, 2 small boats at the side of the boat, and things were being passed out from inside the boat out. Oh, he was even more convinced that there were pirates on the boat coming to rob us. And he's like, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. And of course he has the entire strategy in his head about how he is going to tackle the pirates. I don't know if he was going to do some kung fu or whatever, but he's the only one, and there are 2 boats of people out there. So he went down, and when he then realized what was going on, it turns out that along the river at random spots there would be a farmer who would, maybe the government found really good soil or something, and a person would be allowed to go there and farm bananas or edos or whatever it was. And the wife had gone out to go food shopping, and the husband and another one of the farmers, there were maybe two farmer families or something, that who were living in the middle of nowhere. The wife now had stopped the boat, and they had come to get her because the boat could not just go to the side randomly and drop off. It's not just where you're in a taxi and you stop and you get off the side of the road. He could not do that. So we had to stop in the middle of this big river, and the boats would come in, they'd come right by us, and the wife would give the food that would last them for a period of time, because it's not where their taxis. You can just go out every couple of days to get something. So they were putting their supplies in the smaller boats, and that's what he saw and thought the pirates were robbing the boat that we were on, and he was prepared for some reason to fight and to, defend and protect everybody on the boat. And the memory verse is really fitting here. The memory verse said, don't jump to conclusions. And what does it mean to not jump to conclusions?
Don't assume.
Don't assume. Don't see something, hear something, and immediately, that's what's going on. Because we tend to judge things by what we believe, by what we think to be true. And are they always true like that? No, they're not, boys and girls. Especially when you're a missionary, you go to a new country, a new culture. Things are different. The people are different. Imagine if we were to judge everything by the way we look, by the way we speak, by the way we were raised. We would never be able to do a good work for Christ. Yes? And the other part says, there may be a perfectly good explanation for what you just saw. How can we then find out what that explanation is? Do we just sit there and look and go, okay, and we just figure it out? Sometimes we ask questions. Yes, without judging. So we go to the people, or, as the Bible also says, that be quick to hear, be slow to speak, and slow to be being angry, to having wrath. So you sit down, you go ask what's going on, or you just sit and observe. Because just from the top of the boat, I was able to see what was going on. Yes, but what if Uncle Richard had dived off and, started fighting and started doing, what do you think these men would do? They would fight back, because they're defending themselves from this crazy person that is trying to fight them. Yes? And then something different than what happened would have happened, and we would have probably been kicked out the jungle before we even arrived there, and would not have been able to minister. Because there are many other periods in our mission journey of 8 years that if we had not stopped and listened first and looked and asked questions, that we would have jumped to conclusions, and we would have judged people, and we would not have been able to hear the perfectly good explanation for what we saw or heard. It's never good to jump to conclusions. Can you think of any time that you jumped to conclusion and it was not what you thought it was? Yes, Nathaniel.
One time I went to this church and there was this guy who had a BMW, and it was like one of the new ones, and he got locked out of it because he left his key inside of the car and he locked the car with his phone or something like that.
Okay.
And then he had to use a crowbar to try and enter back into his car. But I didn't know that. I thought it was a robber who was trying to sneak into the car, not sneak into the car, break into the car and drive away with it. So I told my mom and dad, and then they're like, "Oh, he's just locked out of his car."
It's a good thing you told your mom and dad, and you did not scream and thief and call the police or something, and they would come there for something that was just what you thought it was. Yes, this does happen. So boys and girls, may we not fall into that trap. May we look first, really listen, speak to the people, speak to your mom and dad if you're not sure about something, or an adult that you trust, your teacher, your Sabbath school leader, your Sunday school leader, whoever it is, so that they can explain things to you before you jump to conclusions. And as you go out to be missionaries, you really need to pray over this verse in Proverbs 25, verse 8, so that the Lord will really help you to be a good missionary for Him. Do you know the Lord really wants boys and girls to be missionaries?
Mm-hmm.
Really want, because there are things that you can say that nobody else can, and people love hearing boys and girls speak, especially those who love Jesus. I love to hear them speak. So I pray that as the Lord put mission in your hearts, that you would have enjoyed my mission adventures, and one day you would want to go and find mission adventures of your own. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, Auntie Tammy wants to say bye.
Bye.